Greetings and welcome to this edition of the program. Today our focus is on the construction of the Limbé Deep Sea Port, which is one of two ports government intends to fully develop over the next 2.5 decades. The other being the Kribi-Kampo Port, located to the south of Limbé in the south region of Cameroon. Feasibility studies for its construction were long completed and funding is now actively being sought so that effective work can commence on the site at Geme. Should all go according to plan, the first ship should dock there way ahead of 2020. It is a project close to President Paul Biya's heart as it constitutes part of his Greater Achievements program. Peter Full, who develops this story, says the port will be a real economic booster, not only for the region, but for the entire economy of Cameroon, and why not that of the Central African sub-region.
A town with various names: Victoria, Limbé and Opec City, because Limbé is home to the country's oil refinery. Limbé is also home to oil palms, to small and medium-sized enterprises, and to the botanic gardens that grow some unique plant species in the world. The garden is on record to have grown the first tea plant seen at Tole Estate. Some of the most popular beers widely consumed in Cameroon today are documented to have entered the country through Limbé. Limbé will soon be home to a school to train fishermen and home to a deep sea port investors are all anxiously looking forward to. These investments and many more in the horizon will revive the hopes of a once buoyant and prosperous town left behind by colonial masters. From here, banana, cocoa and other commodities were exported, offering direct and indirect jobs to thousands of young people, some of them pouring in from different parts of the country and even beyond. Today, Limbé has its own downside of things. It is known to be one of the most expensive towns in the southwest region, particularly as concerns the cost of housing. The weather also is hot and humid, which explains why some people prefer to live on the windy slopes of Mount Cameroon. Limbé and its zoo, as well as the stories about the different animal species quarantined there, can fill volumes. Some reptiles found here, for example, have a lifespan of up to 3 centuries. Tourism-wise, it is a town where one can picnic, especially in neighboring Bakingili, where the lava of the last Mount Cameroon eruption miraculously stopped just meters from the Atlantic Sea. Tourists and visitors who come here wind up in the refurbished and modern hotels sprouting along the Limbé beaches with their unique features, dark brown sand and pebbles found nowhere else along Cameroon's coastline. It is in this cosmopolitan town that government has elected to develop a modern deep-sea port which will be served by a railway line and in which new residential areas have been mapped out. Government is seeking to develop the Limbé seaport. The first of these reasons, as indicated in the feasibility study handed over to government in a public ceremony in Yaoundé, concerns the implementation of the strategic policy elaborated way back in the 70s to improve on land and port infrastructure. The second has to do with the ambitions of government to multiply maritime traffic facilities along its Atlantic coast. The third reason is that government wants to establish programs for industrial development.
The project for the construction of the Limbé Deep Sea Port started with the launching of a public or an open tender, which my company, Limbé Deep Sea Port, Limbé Port Development Corporation, won this contract. And this contract took us about 9 months for the studies to get to where we are today. And from the study was actually based on the terms of reference that was established by the government. And these terms of reference, after looking at it, we thought that it was necessary to have partners from abroad who are specialized in port construction. So we contacted countries like Singapore, America, Hong Kong, even Dubai, and Korea. Now the case of, we ended up working with the Koreans for the studies because, you know, if we look at the economy or the development of Korea today, it's so peculiar in the sense that for the past 40 years, this country was not having any resources as such, but they are able to get to a point where everybody is so surprised how they got there. But the issue is the development of Korea today is actually due to the existence of major ports like the port of Gwangyang, the port of Busan, which is the fifth in the world. And so I think it was reasonable for Limbé Port Development Corporation to get into contact with the Koreans so that they may, through their development strategies or technological know-how, get Cameroon transformed into a maritime country. And I think they are doing just that at this moment.
Some precision, however, has to be added, which is that the Koreans will not be the only actors involved in the development of the long-awaited Limbé port. Tenders are in the process of being launched with the view to recruiting new partners to the project, which is designed to be developed on a public-private partnership basis.
Actually, the project is going to be realized in 3 phases. The first phase is going to comprise the construction of 2 container terminals, 2 conventional or general cargo terminals, and 1 bulk terminal. And this phase is going to cost about $360 million US. Now, the second phase is going to comprise the construction of 2 container terminals, 2 conventional cargo terminals, and 1 bulk terminal. And it's going to cost about $270 or $260 million US. Now, this phase is going to have a capacity of about 12.7 million tons per year. And in the third phase, we are going to have 1 container terminal only and 1 conventional terminal. And this phase is going to be for the construction, or is going to cost $170 million US. And the capacity at that point is going to be about 17.8 million tons per year. And as I said, the first phase is going to end in, or we are thinking of terminating the first phase by 2015, the second phase by 2025, and the third phase by 2035.